Hi, my name's Mike, or Mikeplaysdiscgolf as you're here on my YouTube channel, and I'm sponsored by London Disc Golf Community, and so I thought I'd do an end of 2021 in the bag. Most in the bag videos do, going from putters to drivers, and starting with my putting putters. I've got my bag here. I have the Prodigy BP2. So my putting putters, I have these EV7 Penroses. I really like putting with them. They've got this really nice bead on here, so somewhere really nice to put my finger and putt from. I always have a pair of them on me. If I don't have a pair of these, then I do have to hold another disc in my hands to putt, just part of the routine and part of my balance. Throwing putters, I'm working out whether I like a couple. So I've got my previous throwing putter here, an MVP Glow Envy, which I really liked. However, is quite similar in overstability to the zone, I think because of the glow plastic. So there's a couple of discs which I'm currently trying out in this off season. So I've got this EMAC Judge from Dynamic Discs, which when I threw one at an event, one of my friends, he'd obviously beaten it in a little bit more and it flew dead straight for me with very little finish, which was something I really liked. However, this one's still a little bit overstable at the moment, so I need to throw it some more and see if I can get it how his was and how I liked it. Then I've got this Lab Second Nomad, which is in their baseline plastic, so it's really nice and grippy. So for touchy approach shots, isn't going to slip out too early. So I'd really like to see if I can try and work with this and get it any better. We'll see. And then finally, I've just picked up this C-Line P2, which the previous owners inked on, so I'll try and strip that a little bit, because his phone number's under my fingers here, and we'll see how this throws for me. I haven't actually had a chance to throw this yet. Next up are my sort of approach discs, which I throw a hell of a lot. So I have a Get Freaky Zone in yellow on yellow, Crystal Flex. I wasn't sure of it when I bought it, if the yellow on yellow would look good, but I think it looks really nice, which is obviously really nice and overstable as a zone is, and flies really nicely for me. And so because I liked how the zone felt in my hand, I bought a putter line zone to see how this would feel, and hopefully if this one gets a little bit flippy for me, and then that zone stays, the Get Freaky stays overstable, there'll be a nice pair of discs which I can throw sort of if I want a different shot shape. I've still got the same hand mould, so I'm still working on this one. Whether it gets in or not, I'm sure at this point. And then finally, for really understable shots at the moment, I have this C-Line MD, an old Innova Air Force stamp, which I think is very, very cool to have on there, which flies really nice and understable for me, but still doesn't flip all the time. I can even put this on a nice gentle touchy forehand, and it works. Next up I have my mid-ranges. People that have played with me know that I'd rather disc up and throw with more touch than to try and sort of put a bit more on a mid-range to get it there. When I started, I was trying to throw full power shots with mid-ranges. They didn't work, I got frustrated, and I basically took them all out of my bag. So I have got a really nice hex from MVP Axiom, a little bit lighter, so I feel that I can put less power, less torque on this, work on my form and try and really throw it really smooth, and it does what the disc is meant to do, which I really like. I got this Lab Second Reactor, which Jack from London Disc Golf Community told me, get a reactor, get a reactor, get a reactor, and then I was like, I don't know if there's space in my bag for it. I got this in the Trash Panda Christmas swap, and I just really like this disc. I've only been out with it once, but I think it might have this space in the bag. The gyro around the edge adds a nice bit of grip to it, so it's not going to slip. However, I'm not sure what the MVP plastic is. The S-line is really nice and slippy. It means I'm not going to grip lock it too much, and the disc is just really nice. I just really enjoy throwing it. And then finally I bought one of the new Discmania C-Line MD3s, which I'm just really getting on with. It's really nice and glidey, it flies such a long way, I don't have to overpower it, but I can still, if I need to throw a little bit further, put a little bit more on it, and it does exactly what I want to do. So now up to my fairways. So I'll start with, I have a DX Firebird, which was one of the first drivers I bought, and then a Champion Firebird, which I've got more recently. This is now getting nice and flippy. It's not this original one. The one that I bought, I lost obviously, but this is getting really nice and flippy and beat in. So as a Firebird, it feels really nice. I can now put more turn on it, and it comes back and fades hard. Whereas my Champion is still quite new and will just fade really hard, and I really have to boost it and flex it to try and get it to go a little bit further, a little bit more how I want. But there's a couple of holes, especially at Croydon, where I love throwing this disc as I need something that's going to turn hard right on my forehand. My current go-to fairway for lots of shots, so all of these approaches where I talked where I didn't want to throw a mid-range, I throw this Evader from Dynamic Discs. I haven't intentionally stripped the stamp, you can see it's still a little bit there, but I might have to finish cleaning that off. It's really nice and overstable. I can throw it really, really touchy, really soft, and it just glides and then finishes, which is a really nice, useful disc. And then for the most overstable fairway, well, probably most overstable disc in my bag, I have this Raptor Sparkle Glow Ledgestone. You just throw it and it just fades really hard, which I really like. If I have to turn tight corners, if I've put myself in the woods, I have a straight shot to get out, but then need to go turn a right angle up a fairway, I throw this and it tends to get me a bit of extra distance, which I wouldn't get if I was just pitching out. Onto my distance drivers. So I bag at least 4 all the time. So I've got an S-Line PD that's really nice for the S-curve shots. It's still nice and overstable, so I can put it on anhyzer, try and like flex it down the fairways, which is really nice. I have the Scorch from Discmania, which I'm still learning at this point. I've had a couple of nice throws on forehand with it, but not too many. Backhand, it's working really well for me. It's got the weight is a lot further out, it seems, than a lot of discs that I've got, so it's flying really nicely for me. I have this ESP Follow Flight Zeus, which I think is very pretty. I had an S-Line Destroyer, Star Destroyer, which I lost, and then picked this up to see how it felt, and this is a little bit more overstable, so I need to just throw it a bit more, beat it in a little bit more, but it's possibly a really nice replacement. And then finally, for slightly straighter shots, I have this DDX from Discmania, which sometimes it's a bit slippy, but a lot of the time I can throw it really nicely. Has a slight S-curve to it, it's not too overstable, it's a lot more straight, a lot more neutral flying. Then finally there's just a couple of discs which I sometimes work in and out of the bag depending on how I'm feeling, where I'm throwing, just how field work has gone. So first up, there's this really nice Cypher, which was dyed by Ryan, also Team LDGC. A Cypher is really, I find it quite nice and reliable, and I don't have any fear when I throw it, if I want to throw it over water, over the Avon at Quarry Park. So it's really nice to have a disc that I'm confident with throwing for those reasons. A lot of people with their water discs, they don't throw them enough, they're not confident with them, and then obviously they go in the lake every time, whereas I've had a couple of Cyphers where they've not gone in there for several visits to these places. I have a Mantis, which I've got a real love-hate relationship with. It's quite an overstable Mantis, but I still find that if I try and torque a forehand, it just doesn't really work. I have to throw it really soft, and then I don't get distance with it. so I still need to learn this disc a little bit more. I've got a Pro Destroyer, which is quite similar to my DDX, hence only bagging one of them, but sometimes this is flying really nicely at fieldwork, so I'll put it in when I next play the course. And then finally there's this Discraft Surge, which is quite an old style Discraft disc, I feel. It doesn't get much love. It was one of the first drivers that I bought. It's still nice and overstable. It's slightly slower than a Destroyer and the DDX and the Zeus, but I can still get some really nice distance with it, so sometimes this breaks out of the bag. It's quite a grippy Z plastic, so if it's going to be wet, I throw this quite a lot, and I just really like it. I also always have a couple of minis in my bag. I'm very much a Discmania fan, so I bought one of these from, I think it was the factory store when I bought a couple of other discs from them, and that's always in there. And then my Good Luck in the Chains mini I've had since I think my second or third tournament, where I got chatting with a couple of the guys, so shout out to them. This is good luck for me when I'm putting. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully I'll do some more videos sometime soon. Till then, cheerio, bye.